Yo. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever part of the day this video chooses to reach you. I hope you're feeling well, I hope you're feeling fine, I hope you're feeling blessed. I hope you realize that you are blessed because you got to see a day somebody else didn't get to see. It is I, you humble, gracious, humble. I said humble twice, huh? Oh well. I'm your host, Von P, aka the Political Crash Out. And man, I should have made my clip. I got some worked up that little intro segment I have been working on. I'm gonna have queued up for y'all in a couple of days because my brain continues to work in trying to think how can I make this thing better and more interesting. Yo, shout out to my guy Purple Glass Media in the building. Appreciate you tuning in. Shout out to the Twitch crowd. You know, my Twitch community. I fucking love y'all. I really fucking love Twitch. Y'all be showing Unc some love. Like, y'all be showing Unc some love on Twitch. And I know it's a bunch of YNs and young motherfuckers on Twitch, but y'all be tuning in and showing love. So I appreciate Twitch like a motherfucker. Just if I can figure out how to monetize that motherfucker. Eat live on stream. Yeah, I'm gonna start to get a little bit more with the in real life stuff. Because I realized that one of the ways, and I'm gonna say this, I'm not gonna gatekeep this shit, right? I'm not a content creator. I just create content. But one of the ways I figured out people gain followings and gain attention for their particular niche that they're trying to participate in when it comes to the social media stuff is to try and incorporate other things. Like, excuse me, my guy, the hip hop lobbyist, you know, his content is mainly geared at politics, and he'll take it through a life and a day of a hip hop as a lobbyist in the Capitol. But he also games like a motherfucker. He be playing them video games, and he be fucking them little young boys and whoever the fuck else up on them damn games, like left and right. So I understand that the different avenues can all converge and come together. And eating is something very simple. And I like to eat. I'm 265 pounds. I eat. So yeah, shout out to my boy Purple Glass Media for dropping that in the comments. I think I will embark on that journey one of these days. It just so happens that when I stream, most of the time I'm done eating by in that day. I think I ate one day on stream it was Saturday when I did Saturday stream. I just happened to be running around, and that's something I do every Saturday. I get me some soup from the Dutch pot. That's something I'm gonna do. And I'm like, let me sit down and eat my soup while I got a moment, and I go live. Ironically, now that you bring it up, when I look back at the analytics and I think back, that was a stream that attracted a lot of people. Weird that something as simple as eating may have had something to do with that shit. Might have to do that shit some more. I mean, I drink water on stream. Shout out to, ain't no fucking shout out. Y'all don't give me no brand deals. I drink water on stream. And I got me a fresh bottle right here, just in case that one. I drink all that one during the stream. Eyes prepared. Now, what did I prepare for today? I prepared to dive into the MLK Files. As we've seen on the news cycle today, MLK Files have been released. They haven't released those Epstein Files, even though Trump has toyed around with it for so long. And his most recent development with that Epstein file in Trump is that he's told Pam Bondi to talk to the grand jury to see about what you can and cannot release from those files, aka keep my name out that shit. So that's what the latest developments with the Epstein files. But in the meantime, they did release those MLK files. So I wanted to jump into that, touch on that very quickly. But I also wanted to spend a little bit more time talk about the Democratic messaging versus the Republican messaging that we're seeing out here in the world. It's not the same community. It's not the same crowd that's hearing this message. So we've seen the message shift and change over time. And I want to just get into some of the ways that we've seen it shift and change. But first thing I want to do is talk about the MLK files. And as you guys know, I like to show you guys a little bit. So we're going to share this screen here and start out with our nifty Google screen. And we're just going to type something very simple, MLK Files. You click on release. I click on MLK Files released. My face is dry, y'all. Like, shit. That's why I keep scratching. My face is fucking dry. You know what? Give me a minute because I don't keep fucking scratching every goddamn minute. All right. Got my liquor caution, the order that I mixed up for myself. Make sure I get that spot. I was really fucking scratching like a motherfucker. This is how you prevent ingrown facial hairs, too, gentlemen. When you be scratching all your fucking stubble in between that shave, that fucking ingrown hair just get to settling it in, and voila, you got an ingrown hair. Next thing you know, you got a big ass fucking bump on your cheek. So keeping your shit moisturized is how you prevent scratching up your face and getting those ingrown hairs, and then you get a nice little glow like this, and that the ladies appreciate. I'm gonna tell you right now, the women love to see a man with moisturized skin. Some good skin on the man. Ooh, shit. They love it. They fucking love it. All right, so getting back to the MLK files. I don't want to click on any of this fluff and bullshit that you see here. We like to go to the source. So we're going to go to the Department of Justice. Click on the Department of Justice. Is this it? No, it's the not right place. You know what? Because it's the National Archives that we're looking for. Oh, there it goes. The National Archives. That's what I was really looking for. They're the ones who got the files. All right. So the National Archives, for those that don't know, are the is the governing body that handles archiving all types of important information in fucking United States history. So we want to scroll down to look at what has been released in these MLK files. And as you can see, as of the date in a National Archive release file, National Archives release date, 7/21/25, yesterday, there are 631 pages or 6,302 entries that got varying degrees of information. And you can click on any of this shit and see what we got. Let's see. This titled Resistance Information. 1968. Indication of the Poor People's Campaign will accelerate rapidly as a potential problem in control. Housing. Problem in control. Housing, feeding, and recreation from the time of the arrival of the Vanguard. Saturday and Sunday, May 14th. And I don't know what the hell that is. At least through 30th of May, which is the projected date for a giant march and demonstration through downtown Washington, D.C. Monday, May 13th, the initial group is to march across a Potomac Bridge, presumably memorial, to a site on which they intend to erect their so-called City of Hope. What these files are, I see it didn't follow you guys. Pardon me. Forgive me, guys. I didn't realize that it didn't show you guys the new screen that we were on. It opened up this page. And as you can see, these MLK files are basically FBI reports of statuses that They were just sending up time from time to time. There's no way in hell that I'm gonna keep y'all on stream while we go through 6,000 pages worth of shit. Not today, not today. But there are some people that will do that shit. I'm not. And I know y'all probably thought, oh man, this motherfucker found out all the shit that we had. My bad. My bad, y'all. I forgot my chat. I missed something in my chat. Yes, Unc carried that. I don't carry it in my pocket, but I got the little concoction that I keep in this bottle. See, I'm at the hive. This is my garage, aka the political garage, as some people have said. But Unc keep that little bottle of oil, and it's not baby oil, my boy. It's Jamaican black castor oil. Got some apricot seed, apricot kernel oil. What else I got in there? Some rosehip oil. I got about 5 different concoctions up in there. All meant to keep my face moisturized and my feet moisturized, and anywhere I put that oil moisturized for an extended period of time. Give me this glow. Give me that nice glow. And like you see, I could wipe my face, and the glow ain't went nowhere because it's in there. It's on me. You know what I'm saying? I also got a concoction I made for my hair with some black seed oil and a whole bunch of other different shit. Rosemary oil. Take advice from Aunt, bro. Better keep that baby oil in your back pocket. I'm trying to tell you. Now, no. Fuck no. This ain't no Diddy shit right here. We don't do the Diddy around here. I am not the diddler. You done diddled a lot of motherfuckers, but we ain't doing that Diddy shit around here. This is purely for moisturizing your skin. I'm a 41-year-old black man that has some of the best skin that you've probably seen on the internet. And no cap, I stand on that. Drink plenty of water too. Between moisturizing your skin and keeping it up like that, drinking plenty of water, and having good fucking hygiene, a good diet. A good diet is fucking slept on when it comes to hygiene. When you talk about what you put in your body, excuse me, you need to be discussing food in its first form or not too much overly processed shit, because that shit comes out of your skin. Free R. Kelly. I don't know. Unless you got some shit in here in these Epstein files that can exonerate R. Kelly, I think R. Kelly might be done for, bro. I'm not even gonna fucking lie to you. It might be a wrap for old Robert. But let's jump back to some of these JFK files. Not JFK. I'm about to say R. Kelly files. God damn, boy. Motherfucker got me. I was about to say R. Kelly. Not the R. Kelly files. Get back into these MLK files. Let's just take a quick browse through the first couple pages to see if anything pops out. Oh, assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. Let's share that screen and see what we got on that document there. Central Intelligence Agency, July 5th, 1979. Dr. Drew, Congressional Liaison of Federal Bureau of Investigations. Dear Mr. Drew, excuse me. Thought you would be interested in this letter, which was the ultimate result of the meeting that blank held the other day discussing the point paper on the HSCA final report. The point paper itself was never disseminated. The letter was the final product. I ain't got shit to do with the assassination. saying you had to scan some of these documents to see what's really in them. This file man has process. Outside the structure charter of cited and push to support the committee's investigation. I'm personally satisfied that no relevant information in our files, no relevant files, no matter how real, feeling of our sources and methods were withheld from the committee, and I am also gratified that the diligence. We of course know the committee was not involved in the assassination of President Kennedy. So in the MLK files, we got a line that says the agency, which is the CIA, was not involved with President Kennedy's assassination. The findings and conclusions of the committee and important research will serve history for years to come. It is for reasons that I feel it is important that the record reflect our views, that the conclusion in the report, like, who gives a fuck if the CIA was involved with Kennedy's assassination? They said it wasn't, but I really don't give a damn. This was assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, but now we see a line in there talking about Kennedy. So now my mind was wondering if Trump's White House fucked up and released the wrong goddamn files. Let's take a look some more. See if we can find anything else about Mr. Kennedy in these goddamn files. See if anything pops out to us. Congressional records, say James Early, memo on Dr. Martin Luther King. Possible idea person. August 3rd, 1978. Please note the DCI's comments on the attached spot report that the agency has no obligation to help the agency confirm identification of the person on the photographs. Thank you. On July 3rd of 1978, the House Select Committee on Assassination released several photographs of composite drawings of persons could not be able to shed evidence on the assassination of President John F. Kennedy and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The photo was shown on the newscast on Channel 5 on July 5th. So it looked like they conflated the two goddamn investigations. I can tell that, Fidel. Looked like they was trying to identify the hell. Leah Harvey Oswald. Secret. It was secret until yesterday. Now they're trying to tie in Fidel Castro into all of this. This is a treasure trove of information meant for conspiracy theorists. I'm not gonna go down that line today, y'all. I'm gonna be fucking honest with y'all, because the idea that I mainly wanted to touch on today in today's live stream was the messages between the Democratic and Republican Party and the difference between the two. That's why the title of the stream is Red, White, and Viral. Hold on, let me go back. Let me come off of this screen really quick because we got some activity in the chat. Local guy on the internet told me we got to free R. Kelly, and I said R. Kelly, he might be done for, gang. And he told me, "What do you mean? He innocent, gang. It was a setup." I don't know how old you are, bro, but I'm old enough to remember seeing porn with R. Kelly on it, pissing on a girl, fucking a young girl, pissed on a young girl. And I remember thinking back then, am I watching child porn? because that girl looks very fucking young. Like her body just didn't look adultish. I've watched a lot of porn in my life, so I know what some grown women titties look like. I've had a lot of sex in my life. I know what some grown women body parts look like in person. So for me to be, how I think I was like, I forgot how I was young when I seen that shit. But I remember thinking back then, this girl's titties don't look like she's an adult. It don't look like she's fully developed. Like something's not right here. And R. Kelly married Aaliyah. We know he like young motherfuckers. So I'm not gonna just run off with the he was set up line, because I don't think he was set up. I really don't. And if we pay attention to anything in those trials, they never really denied some of the stuff that he was accused of. They just tried to say, "Oh no, they were adults. You know, it wasn't no big thing. It's consensual. They're adults." He done some wild shit. So I can't say he was set up. What I can say is that he had a lot of accomplices. So for him to be the only one doing time is fucked up. I do think some other people should be locked up right besides R. Kelly. Just like Ghislaine Maxwell was locked up besides Jeffrey Epstein. They knew Epstein wasn't the only person that was doing shit, so they locked her up too. So, like I said, he did some of that shit, but set up? Nah, I don't think it was set up, bro. But when you get caught up doing freak nasty shit, sometimes that shit is not worth it. As he found out, he just got caught up. It wasn't no setup, because he the one set the cameras up. All right, so I want to get into a topic that has been on my mind for a while now. And I had a conversation earlier today. So some people are going to see this stream or clips from this stream, and they're going to be like, "Man, that motherfucker Vaughn, we were talking about that earlier." But I got a lot of different clips where I talk about this topic going back to last year, before last year's election. And I actually did a whole ass think piece on it, because there's a difference in the messaging that we're seeing from the Democrats and the Republicans. And the Democrats and the Republicans, while they're going at, I don't want to say two completely different demographic or different groups of people, their audience is not the same. I'll say it like that. Their audience isn't the same. Democrats are mainly targeting like urban voters, diverse, like different types of coalitions. And the Republicans, they're mainly targeting, the rural voters, the working class, and people that readily identify as Republicans. They're not trying to attract, more people, if that makes sense. Their message is directed to make the people that are already on board their train hear it and speak to the emotions and the feelings of the rural and working class. Let's talk about the Democratic messaging for a moment before I get too off bat. Let me pull up my notes here. Okay. Excuse me. Now, when we look at the Democratic messaging is mainly along the lines of logic and facts. They look for ways to make sense. If you really think about the Democratic messaging that we've seen over the last year or so, it's been heavy information, logic, data. And while that speaks to their traditional base of college educated individuals, critics and even me, I'll say that when you lean too heavy on the logic and the data, you can lose a lot of individuals, not because they don't understand it, but because we live in an age of quick attention spans, short attention spans, gets to the point type shit. The average, reels on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, they are capped at a certain time for a reason. These algorithms have told them that the maximum that a person may want to stay on that piece of information is 3 minutes. So that's why Republicans live in that meme culture, because their messaging is perfect for that short 3 minute meme culture life. Well, the Democrats, on the other hand, you can't explain a whole fucking policy plan into somebody in 3 minutes. You can give them some bullet points, but just the nature of what you're talking about is going to breed questions. And when you have that type of environment, when you have that type of situation, and you only have 3 minutes to get your information across, you're going to lose. And everything we talk about and everything we mainly look at nowadays is on the internet. Most people get their news from the internet. Hell, I'm doing this podcast on the internet because I realize a lot of motherfuckers don't look at the news, so they don't know what the fuck is going on. So a motherfucker like me is going to tell you what the fuck is going on. So that shows you what's going on here. And that 3 minute culture is killing the Democratic messaging, because you have a lot of data. You cannot get that shit shared in 3 minutes. And that's really one of the downfalls of the Democratic Party. The other downfall of the Democratic Party's messaging is that they're not staying tuned into the room. They're not reading the room. When you have social media dominating the culture, you can't have a bunch of old ass white men up there trying to advertise and pull a bunch of young motherfuckers on. You have to look at your party and let the young stars that are doing it, fucking shit up, shine, because they've mastered that social media world. They've mastered that 3 minute world that we're living in right now, where you got 3 minutes to keep a motherfucker's attention. On the other hand, we got Republicans that live and survive in a meme culture. Let me take a look at my notes here before I move. I'm about to move on, but I'm like, I feel like I'm missing something here. Another, besides the slow adaptation to social media culture, a lot of the Democrat message is boring as fuck. It's weak. I can't explain it any other fucking way. A lot of their fucking messaging is just fucking weak. It doesn't ring. It doesn't go viral. It doesn't ring. It doesn't, stay with somebody for an extended period of time. It doesn't make you think about that shit randomly or laugh just because the picture was crazy. I don't give a damn how much I disagree with some of Trump's stuff. I cannot disagree with the fact that motherfucker's team has mastered social media marketing. All of the wild shit that Trump says, number one, it leans into the Republican messaging that we see out here. And it's one of the reasons why they succeed. So they're so good at it. They go viral. Republican messaging goes viral. Trump says some wild shit on a daily basis. Out of 7 days in the week, we got at least 7 wild things that Trump says. 3 of those things are going to get some major traction on the internet throughout that 7-day cycle. Republican messaging is going viral. And they don't try and influence you with logic or facts or information in their messaging. It's very short, sweet, and to the point. Make America Great Again, the big beautiful bill. They use very short slogans to push that viral ability of whatever the fuck they talk about. And also, what's this part right here is fucking genius. They create outrage with the names of things that they're doing or their slogans. Case in point, MAGA, make America great again. It speaks to the MAGA crowd because they want to make America great again. But to other individuals, they're going to say, well, when was America great again? What makes America great again? That move in itself keeps that fucking slogan pushing and pumping throughout the internet. So even the opposition to some of this Republican messaging pushes the messaging along, which is fucking genius. It's fucking genius. I don't know who came up with it, but the tactics that we've seen in Republican messaging is kicking the Democrats' ass. And I don't know what is going on in the Democratic Party's planning headquarters, but it's not that fucking hard to look up and see that, you know, being a little edgy in today's society works. Being a little uncouth, if you will, it works. The other thing that Republicans are not afraid of, they're not afraid to flirt with scandals and racism and bigotry and just otherwise undesirable sections of society. Because in tiptoeing in and around the bigotry and racism is viralability. They go viral doing it. We keep talking about certain things which pushes them in front of us, pushes that fucking messaging further and further and further. Meanwhile, the Democratic messaging is heavy with the data, heavy with the information, nothing catchy, nothing swaggy, nothing attention grabbing, and it dies. It fucking just fizzles out. I said a couple months ago that the Democratic Party didn't have a problem itself, but Democrats have a problem with the messaging. And we keep seeing it time and time again. Democrats won't tap into the Jasmine Crockers, the AOCs, the David Hogues, the motherfuckers that actually have a pulse on what's going on in the cultures. And I don't say one culture because the three people I name are from three completely different cultures, but they all three have their finger on the pulse of their particular cultures. David Hogue got all the young white boys on him. Jasmine Crocker got Black America behind her. AOC is the Chico's fucking queen right now. But the Democratic Party, they're not catching on. They're not reading the room. They're not seeing that, hey, we have three individuals that are positioned to get us some votes back. And in the time where Republicans are kicking their ass with the messaging, especially in the state of Florida, they need people like that. Take for example, David Hogue. For those that don't know this name, you do know something that David Hogue was associated with. The Parkland shooting. David Hogue is a Parkland shooting survivor. Who the fuck is better to go out and talk about gun reform? David Hogue. And who's going to stop him? Because he's a survivor of one of the worst mass shootings in the United States history. So it's that type of chess move that we need to see from the Democratic Party if we want to see them have any fucking hope whatsoever of recovering their position in the messaging battle that they're losing. I gotta find a new word because saying this asinine is fucking like it's fucked up. It's fucked up, to say the least. We also got to talk about the delivery methods that are primarily used to push the messaging of the Democrats and the Republicans. Democrats are still trying to buy ads on TV and newspapers and things of that nature. Republicans, on the other hand, are tapped into social media. I've already told you that they live in the meme culture. And I think the meme culture stuff is purely by accident because Trump kept getting made. Every time Trump did something, he was turned into a meme. So I think they realized, hey, this meme culture stuff is really working to not only push our messaging and get our messaging further out there, but it's also working to kind of humorize what we're talking about and humanize Donald Trump and not make him look like a fucking gigantic asshole. Because people are constantly laughing at the shit he does. They're not going to focus on the bullshit that he's doing because they're busy fucking laughing at him. There are even some people that have told me well before the election, oh man, I just like his swag. I like the way he do. I like his brashness. I like his, he don't give a fuck. I told them, those individuals, I was like, you might want to have a president that actually gives a fuck. You might want, that's something you might want to have, but you don't want to choose a president just because, he don't give a fuck. That is not the reason why you want to choose a president. I can tell you that right now. What is this? I don't want the private chat up. I want the regular chat up. But yes, we see the viral ability of the Republican Party pushed forward by the delivery methods. They're going to podcasts. They're using social media like a motherfucker. From Trump to the lower parties, lower members. And they're also using their connections. We've seen Jeff Bezos push the Washington Post they were going to endorse Kamala Harris for president. Jeff Bezos, the owner of the company, of the paper, said no. If you're not going to endorse Trump, you're not going to make any endorsement. So they didn't make any endorsement because they refused to endorse Trump. So we've seen them be savvy enough with their marketing to actually make an impact. The only question now is, what is the Democratic Party prepared to do to regain their, I don't want to say standing, but try and make a dent in this shit? Because the shock value that we're seeing from Republicans' messaging is fucking the game up. I don't know any other way to say it, but it's fucking the game up. The Republicans push towards pulling in the working class and the rural people by making them feel included in their plans and their emotions by just talking to their emotions. It works. And we're at a point in America where you got to stop giving a fuck to a certain extent about not lying to a motherfucker. Because they don't care about being lied to. I'm going to tell you right now. The United States of America is in a place where people don't give a fuck about being lied to right now. People give more of a fuck about you making them feel good. People give more of a fuck about you making them think they're included. People give more of a fuck about their feelings and emotions than they do about logic and anything else. So don't worry about whether you being morally or ethically, good to people right now in America, especially if you're in the business world. You're almost expected to be a liar. Politics, they're going to call you a liar guaranteed. So you might as well lie. It's working for the Republicans. If you disagree with me in the chat, let me know. Because I know what I'm saying is wild as fuck. But when you really look at what has happened, that's what fucking transpired. They stopped giving a fuck about lying to people and start pulling on emotions, making people feel included, making people feel like, something's wrong with the other party. They kept saying Democrats only focus on the gay stuff. What about you? Trump's key phrase before the election was, your life was better under me. No fucking policy whatsoever. But he made people feel included. He made people feel like they had a shot at actually fucking, having a better life. As I close this out, I just had one question I want to ask. As we head towards November, you got to ask yourself, with this midterm election being super duper important and having the ability to flip Congress, which, by the way, has a bigger impact on your day-to-day life than the president. But the Republican messaging that they're trying to push is that the president has authoritarian type power. And it's not the case. So with this midterm election coming up, are we going to focus and vote more for policies or stories? Fallacies or facts? That's the real question. In the world full of narrative, in the world full of podcasts, meme culture, billboards, I can honestly say I feel like the Republicans are winning the narrative war. They're winning the marketing war. And Democrats are fucking getting killed. But it's their own fucking fault. They got to wake up. They got to smell the coffee. They got to see what's going on around them. They got to read the room. You understand that it's time for a shift and it's time for a change. But until that time, Democrats are going to keep getting their ass washed. Keep getting fucking washed. Ugh. All right, that's it, y'all. That's all I had in my notes to talk about. In the state like Florida, where Republicans got a 1.3 million voter advantage, not dollar, voter. There are 1.3 million registered. There are 1.3 million more registered Republicans than Democrats in the state of Florida. Let that sink in. These motherfuckers are growing by the day. It's not growing because people are just believing what they're seeing. They feel included. They're hearing the message. The message is sticking with them. For whatever reason, it's sticking with them and they're running with it. So Democrats, it's time to wake the fuck up. And the bad part is, I've said it before, I'm an independent, but there's so much fuckery that goes on with the Republican Party that I end up defaultly looking like a goddamn Democrat almost all the time. Because I'm one of those people that believe in logic and thought. So I could understand some of the Republican policies sometimes. A lot of times I do. Well, before Trump got in office, I did. Now I'm not even sure what the fuck be going on half the time with the Republican Party. But that's it for the day, y'all. Got anything in the chat that I done jumped over and missed? Nope. So that's what we're gonna wrap it there. I didn't want to do it a long part. I just wanted to do something just to keep it going, keep it riding. Do me a stream one of these days. Talk about hygiene a little bit. Put a little more. All right, Al. Put it under my throat too. All spots where you may get dry, some razor bumps, make sure it's moisturized. The better you moisturized, the less chance you got for fucked up skincare. Skin in general, not skincare. Fucked up skin, excuse me. All right. Peace. Love you guys.